Let's go back in time because Luke Thomas concurs with Ariel Helwani that Alex Pereira may be lying about his account being hacked. In a mysterious post that alluded to conflict with the UFC, Alex essentially stated, "If they want to play games, I can play too." Ariel Helwani raised eyebrows on Instagram a few hours later, saying he has no idea what's going on and everything is fine, but that his account was hacked. Since no one from Pereira's team responded to him directly, Luke Thomas is right there with him, and he agrees that something about this situation feels off. Luke pointed out how unusual it is for a hacker to post something so specific and UFC-related instead of doing the usual spam or scam stuff. Both Ariel and Luke are aware of how the game operates, so if they're raising red flags, there's likely smoke behind the fire, whether it's a failed negotiation tactic, a misunderstanding, or something more serious happening behind the scenes. Clearly, something isn't adding.
All right, when was the last time somebody got hacked and A, they wrote just one tweet, and B, wrote in such a way that like echoes specific things about the broader reality, right? Like fighters complaining about the UFC on Twitter, this has been done, or social media has been done a million times. And it echoes, like if you didn't know it was hacked, you'd be like, right, here we go. Exactly. You know what I mean? It's one thing for like Dustin Poirier to get hacked and be like, oh, click this link to buy my MacBook, or someone hacks Kamaru and then they're just saying the N-word or something like that. But it was a bunch of tweets in both cases, and it was, you know, you could tell that something was off. Reading that, I mean, yeah, it's English, not Portuguese. It matches up with a behavior pattern that would indicate it was intentional and not done by a hacker, like it was done by the actor himself or Poatan or somebody in his camp. I don't know shit.
In response to Belal Muhammad's audacious assertion that he intends to strictly stand and strike with lifelong striker Jack de Maddalena, Kamaru Usman isn't holding back. He believes that if Bal follows that plan, he will lose. He also added, "It's not the kind of decision a true championship-level fighter makes. You don't go into a fight ignoring your strengths, especially when you've got elite tools. Most guys don't." Bal's stand-up has definitely come a long way. He's sharper and more confident, and he's put in real work over the years, but let's not get it twisted. It's his pressure and wrestling that got him to the top of the welterweight division, not trying to become a kickboxer overnight. And remember that this is the same guy who just showed up at UFC weigh-ins and had staff members asking him who he was. He's always been the underdog and had something to prove, but now that he's finally here, he can't afford to play someone else's game. If he does, Jack Della will light him up. That's it. Share your predictions for this fight in the comments section below.
Listen, I don't take anything that these guys say to heart. I don't believe them in any way. Saying, "Oh, I'm not going to take one shot. I'm just going to strike with the guy." You're saying, "I'm going to take away what makes me good, what separates me, and I'm just going to give this guy a shot to potentially beat me." So, with that being said, I mean, if that actually is what he's going to go out there and do, then I could see a potential upset here. But, you know, the champions are the ones that are able to be smart enough to know that, hey, I need to go in here and I need to do what I need to do to get this victory. And so if he goes out there and mixes it up, I could see him definitely getting the victory. But, yeah, I just don't like what I've been hearing from the camp. Oh, we're working on his boxing. He just worked boxing this camp. Or he's not going to take one shot. I don't like hearing that. Just state what you're going to do and go out there and execute that. I think that's what makes champions.
Belal Muhammad walked up to commentate on the main event, but the Montreal commissioner didn't even acknowledge him in a humiliatingly embarrassing moment that he would probably never forget. Yes, until a UFC employee intervened to save the day and confirmed that in fact, this was the man facing Jack Della Tina in Saturday night's main event. Belal, the undisputed world champion who is leading one of the most...
Undisputed UFC welterweight champion Belal, remember the name Muhammad.
Main event.
Main event 170, sir. And you can go with it.
You don't want this kind of attention leading up to your first UFC title defense. The stakes for this fight are extremely high. As UFC President Dana White has previously stated, the outcome of the fight between Belal and Della Maddalena will have a significant impact on the welterweight division's landscape. but more significantly, it will influence Ilia Topuria's future. Ilia stated unequivocally that he will undoubtedly be given another chance at a lightweight crown. By the way, after facing significant criticism from the MMA community, the Georgian returned to using El Matador as his nickname. In any case, the supporters didn't like Leyenda. Even if someone neglected to identify Belal Muhammad to the commissioner, this fight is still important. Belal was later questioned about his...
Do you feel like, Belal, that you're not getting respect as a champion? Like, in other words, it seems like everybody kind of looks like you're the guy to be knocked off, right? You're the guy that, you're the weak champion, so to speak. After what you've done and who you've beaten, I'm a little surprised that that narrative's still out there.
Yeah, 100%. For me, I like that, right? I like to be the guy that they'll think will lose. I like to think that the weak, because I'm just gonna keep going out here and keep winning. I've been told from the beginning that I would never be champion, that I wouldn't be guys, that this next guy would beat you. Oh, this guy's for sure gonna beat you. Keep it coming, keep those names coming, keep that attitude coming, keep that same energy. And then when I'm the best welterweight to ever do it, at the end of when it's all said and done, then they're gonna realize, all right, well, we're eating crow.
Bo, on the most recent episode of Bo's podcast, Nickel talked about the aftermath of his first UFC loss against RDR. It was his first taste of adversity in MMA, and the reaction was brutal. Fans who had long criticized the UFC's push of Nickel were quick to celebrate his fall, while fighters on the roster questioned how he handled the pressure when things didn't go his way, especially considering he was stopped by a fighter known more for submissions than striking. However, Nickel isn't avoiding the criticism. Rather, he is storing it all as fuel. He clarified that he is keeping receipts and intends to use all the doubt and backlash as motivation when he eventually rises to the top again.
And all the people that, it's interesting, of course, you mentioned there's a lot of positive and a lot of negative. All the negative, for me, I look at that and all I say is just like, suck my At the end of the day, say what you want, but when I get back on top and when I'm the freaking champion of the world,
they're all crawling back.
You all come crawling back.